If you're thinking about buying a Quicksilver 640 Pilothouse, hopefully this video will answer some questions for you. I've had mine for 3 years and I've just sold it. She's empty. And before she goes, I thought I'd take people on a little look around because they are a really popular boat. I'll take you through the front to back, the engine, the deck space, the hatches, and inside the wheelhouse. And I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like, and what I would change if I got one. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments or feel free to drop me a message on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you're going to find me, and I'll do my best to answer the questions for you. Likewise, if you have anything to add to the video positively, do it in the comments, please. So I'll get outside, take you round, and we'll come back and end up back in here, and hopefully you'll get an idea about just how good the 640s are, because they are great little boats. Okay, starting from the front, this is my boat Easy Living. We've got a bow roller. We have a bow roller and a windlass is operated here with the rope locker in the front there, but it doesn't hold much space. There's not much space in there for a rope. Obviously, you can add as much cleats as you want, but that's it. And then that's what it looks like from the front. Nice and easy. This is the older 2010 style model. And this is what they look like from the side. So that's what it looks like. Nice and simple, not much to talk about. I do keep mine on a tetradock because I prefer that. Easy single-handed manoeuvring and anti-fouling. You don't have to anti-foul it nearly half as much because obviously half of it is never in the water. So we've got stainless steel rails all around the bow here. They come as standard. And then you've got your windscreen wipers. And then obviously, you can add whatever you want, your nav lights, radio antenna, rod holders, and then your anchor, radar deflector, anchor light, and the rest of it. That all comes as standard on the boats with the windows, but we'll look at that in a minute. So coming onto the starboard side, the older model has wooden side rails, but you can bolt these off and you can get plastic ones made up by Hooked to Messy is one company that does them, and he also makes nice bait tables. But yeah, the rails are wooden. You have to take them off and sand them every year, which is a bit of a pain in the arse if you take care of your boat. Rod holders mounted in the sides, and I've got additional ones that I've put on myself, just screwed in. Again, that's all your own preference. The filler cap on these is there at the back, and it's a 135 litre fuel tank. I'll show you the tank in a minute. And you've got a back section here which comes out, and you can have a swim ladder fitted, although this hasn't got one. But yeah, you have a swim ladder fitted on the back there, and then you're looking at going into the deck itself. So I've got a bait table fitted on rail blazer mounts, and we've got a 100 EFI Mercury engine. So I've got a 100 horsepower engine on my Mercury, because that's my brand that I would always like to choose if I can. Luckily it come with it. 135 litre fuel tank. I wouldn't go anything smaller than 100 horsepower. In fact, I'd probably want a bit more, 115 or a 150, which is the max rating for these. And I get along at 21, 22 knots, more likely 20, but that's all I need. I don't need to go any faster than that. 100 horsepower though, nice and easy. And I think that's a long shaft, I'm not sure. We have 2 batteries, so I run off twin isolators here. So I run off, one runs all my house batteries, so my low ramps unit, all my electronics basically, and then the other one separately runs the engine. I prefer to do it that way because then you've got a backup then. It's not all running off one battery, so if the battery goes down, you've got something. I always prefer to run off 2 twin batteries. That's how this one's set up, and that's it. Never had any problems with it, really easy. Right, so deck layout, we've got the live bait tank here at the back. Never worked this one, I use it as a storage bin. Never worked out for me. It draws water up from underneath, and then that's meant to be a live bait tank, but it's not no good if I'm being honest. Got 2 storage compartments either side there. Keep your fenders in. My house battery for the electronics is actually in there, and then this middle one here is where the fuel tank and all your filters and electronics are located, and I'll show you that now. As you can see, loads of storage space under there. I keep my anchor and the bucket in here with my Alderney ring, fuel tank for my auxiliary engine when I had it, and then you got your fuel tank, 135 litres, and you've got your pumps and your filters, electronics, all in there. And I actually have a through-hole transducer in there as well as one that is mounted out down the back there. But yeah, Nice and easy, real good, plenty of big space in there, and that fuel tank does me perfectly. Fuel capacity 135 litres. Now I get about 1.1 litres to the mile. This boat is so economical. They only come in overall weight is just over a ton. I think it's 1,050 kilos off memory. So they're really light boats, but there is a caveat to that, and I'll talk about that in a minute, being so light. But fuel economy, really good. 100 horsepower, 20 knots, give or take, a bit more, a bit less, depending on which way the tide's going. But yeah, about 1.1 litres a mile. So pretty decent. It's about 140 quid, 150 quid to fill up the tank. Petrol price dependent, obviously. So actually not too bad. And depending how far you're running out, that can last you all month or it can last you one trip. But for me, I do a lot of mixed fishing offshore and inshore. But yeah, 150 quid, 100 horsepower engine. Brilliant. Right, so again, I had rod holders fitted to the sides here, and I've got another one just in there. And again, on this side, I have my own ones that are bolted on. Now you've got a bit of side access here, goes around the port side, and then got a fishing rod there at the minute, but up the side here. Now, one downside that I've got to this boat is that is really narrow, is really small, and the rails are quite low. So in rough weather, if you was going forward to launch your anchor, if that's how you do it, or to attach a tow line, it can be a little bit sketchy. Me, if you don't know me, Amputee angler, I've got two fake legs. So I can't get up the side there just because of the way my legs are and the way they work. It doesn't let me get up there with ease. So I've never been able to really get up the bow. So that's one downside, is the access isn't brilliant, but you might find that perfectly fine as an able-bodied person. We've got a sliding door, just latches on with a catch there, and then we go into the wheelhouse. Now, again, one of faults for me, we've got a bit of a drop down in here. We have a little step, and then you've got your main floor there with your skipper's chair there. And we are a starboard side helm here with your throttle and all your switches there and your gauges. And then I'll come over here and talk about these in a minute, but these are the units with a radio there. And of course, you've got your seating, bit of storage under there. There is storage under that one there. I'll show you that in a second. And then you've got a little cupboard here with space. That's meant to be a sink, but I use it as storage for my rags and bits. Got a bit of storage here. And then you've got a window either side, and then a hatch window up there as well. This is under the port side seat. And you've got lovely big storage in there. And you've got a bit of storage under there for lures or water or whatever. You've got ample space. Up here, there's a little shelf and a cubby hole. I think that comes as standard. And of course, you can store bits in there as well. And then they do come with this little like bracket thing that sits in there, and you put all your little bits and bobs in there. Touched on it earlier, now I'm in the wheelhouse. The boats only come in at just over a ton in weight, 1,050 kilos. Obviously, you have your tackle and yourself to add into that, but the generic weight of the boat is about 1,050 kilos. This is a 2010 model. If you're unsure about the year of your boat, the back, as you're looking at the stern on the starboard side, there's a little plate and it'll tell you all the details of the boat, including the year it's made. Mine is 2010. Because they are so light compared to something like an Arva, which people normally are tossing up between getting an Arva or a Quicksilver. Arva's obviously inboards, they're a lot heavier. This Quicksilver 2010, it's just light. So when you're punching into a sea, let's say here on the south coast, we've got a northerly wind, that creates a really short chop. When you're punching into that, she is a little bit noddy and she can be a little bit slammy. Now, I know some people don't like that term because every boat is slammy because it's on the sea. Some boats do it more than others. Because these are so light, they do go up and down the waves quite quickly. So if you're after a really comfortable, solid ride that is just going to punch through the waves and plod, this won't be the boat for you. This is a really nippy, really maneuverable boat, but it doesn't like a head-on sea, just to warn you. The drop down into the wheelhouse has got like two little steps. And for me as a double amputee or anybody with mobility problems, that may be a bit of a problem. I'm lucky that my upper body is quite strong, so I can pull myself in and out. But even on a rough day for me, I'm a little bit knackered by the end of it, having to pull myself in and out. So that's just another thing to be aware of. Like I said earlier, Absolutely brilliant economical boat though. 1.1, 1.2 litres a mile, and she goes 20 knots sort of give or take. She really does move, so I can't fault that. And she is by and large a comfortable boat, these 640s. You've got plenty of space for the kids down below in the wheelhouse there. It does come with the cushions. It is okay to have the kids laying down. If you're a big adult, the space is a little bit limited here if you're planning on staying on it or doing overnight trips. But of course, you make the most of whatever you've got. Plenty of grab rails around the boat, so that's never an issue. The stainless rail at the back, I'll quickly show you that now. So that doesn't come as standard, I'm led to believe. I think the previous owner, which was the Chinese Dragon, he had that fitted. What I do though is I get some pipe lagging and I put some pipe lagging on either side, and then you can stand in the corner when you're fishing and lean against it. So rather than have that rail dig in, you're just leaning against a soft pipe lagging. That's a good little top tip. We've got the little holder under there for your boat hook and your broom. Really, really easy, simple boat. Right, so like I said, starboard side operation. Your throttle there and all your cables run down here behind the plastic trim. We've got our steering wheel with our hydraulic fluid point there, top up the hydraulic fluid. Nice and easy, real good smooth steering. Your anchor windlass sorry, these are my trim tabs. I've got trim tabs fitted on mine. And then you've got all your dials over here, all your buttons, windscreen wiper pulleys, and then you come up to your electronics. Now, I've got an Icon radio there, and I fish twin low ramp systems. I've got a HDS7 and a HDS9. I like twins because obviously I can have then the chart on one, sonar on the other. And when I'm looking in back from there, I have the big screen to see the sonar, which is important for me when I'm fishing. Obviously, you can have whatever setup you want. That's how I have it, and it works an absolute treat. Autopilot is the red button as well. I've got autopilot on this. Push start, oh, sorry, push and stop there. Easy, easy, easy. Cup holder. Obviously, all the mock-ons you can add and do whatever you want. The window hatches and the one up above, they no longer make these anymore. So if you've got one that's broken, I'm told that Quicksilver no longer make these because it's an older model. So you would have to maybe either find one in a scrapyard or an older boat, or hope someone's got some spares, or find one that's custom fitted. But yeah, they don't make these hatches anymore, so they do break. Sorry, if they break, you've got to find another one. The roof hatch, the seal can go and you can get a little bit of water dripping in, but that's just because it's an older seal. But obviously, replace the seals, you don't have that problem. And that is it. And the compass is there. Right, likes and don't likes of the Quicksilver 640. I don't like that it is a little bit slammy and a head sea because it's uncomfortable, but I am a double amputee, so I have to take into account that when I'm bouncing around, it's going straight through my legs. You might not have that problem, but it doesn't like a head-on sea. They are light boats. The caveat of that is they are light, they are nippy, they're great on fuel. I don't like the step into the wheelhouse because again, it could just be a me problem, but it's a double amputee. I have to step in, step down, and then pull myself out. I don't like that. So if you've got knee problems or joint problems, or you struggle with mobility, it is a bit of a step in and out, but we just overcome that if you like the boat. Other than that, I'll be honest with you, there's not much else I don't like on the boat. It has been the best boat I've owned, and I've owned 7 boats now, commercial and pleasure. This one has been an absolute diamond to me. It's put some lovely fish on the boat. It takes me all the way to the French side, and I'm at Eastbourne at Brighton. So I do big 30-mile offshore trips here, 40-mile offshore trips, 100, 120-mile round days at times. So I do work this boat really hard, and she has taken everything with no problems. So I've got no qualms on that. Servicing has always been a normal service. You spend the money on the service and you get changed whatever you've had to change. I've only ever had a couple of sensors go on the engine, 150 quid at a time or whatever. So I've never had any major problems with the engine. The boat itself, the electronics is all perfect and fine. Obviously, it may vary boat to boat. Overall, if you're thinking about getting one and you can get a good one for the right price, get it. They're really good boats, depending what you're coming from or downgrading, upgrading. Absolutely lovely boats. If you want it for fishing, perfect. It is a lovely fishing platform. I fish single-handed most of the time, or with one, maybe two others. I think they're rated for 6 people, but I wouldn't get 6 on here. I wouldn't take 6. You fish 3 comfortably, 4 at a push. And even then, that depends on what fishing you're doing. But perfect fishing platform. I do recommend having the twin units if you can afford it or get it, because it does make life a bit easier. Other than that, not much else to say. If you've got any questions on the review here, or I've missed something, I appreciate it is a very quick, broad overview. I'm not showing you all the gubbins, all the lights and everything else, because you can make a boat however you want it. The boat itself, the 2010 640 Pilothouse, is a great little fishing platform. I have no qualms with it, and I would recommend it to anybody else. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments or drop me a message on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to get at me, and I will answer any questions you have. Thanks for watching. I hope that has been half helpful.